Good morning, and we are live. Finally. I do apologize for running a little late this morning. I'll explain after the intro. Good morning, everybody. I do apologize for being late. I really do. It is a technical issue beyond my control. When you're as rural as I am, folks, this is not an act. I am a hillbilly. I am out in the sticks, man. And when you're as rural as I am, you do not have a lot of choices for internet service providers. As you longtime members and folks that have been watching the show know that we used to do it over cell towers. And I thought we were going to have to do that again this morning because the internet service provider that came out here, I finally have high-speed internet. That's why you can see my beautiful face so close, with such fine resolution that you can see everything, including my scraggly beard this morning, has decided that they wanted to do repairs. Yeah. No announcement, no anything, just, hey, we're going to just shut your internet down. Didn't know if I was going to get it, so I was trying to go back to the old cellular system where we were a little pixelated, but that meant getting rid of the camera. That meant getting rid of it was a lot. I was 3/4 the way through that mess, and boom, internet came back up. So I was threw everything back together, got everything ready to go, and we ended up running a little late, and I do apologize for that. I really do. And one more thing before we go to work. You wonderful folks that sent me this coaster that we're quilting and sending this coaster and the shopping bag that came along with it. That was incredibly generous, incredibly kind of you. I have a request from Mrs. Texas Paul. That shopping bag is her favorite shopping bag, and she wanted me to ask you if you were selling those because she would like to buy a few of them from you. You could reach out to me via email. She would like to buy a few of them from you. That is literally her favorite shopping bag. So for Mrs. Texas Paul, let's get that out of the way. And thank you again. That was very generous of you, very kind of you. I'm truly grateful. So we've got several things going on today. Trump got punched in the mouth with the War Powers Act in the middle of negotiation, War Powers resolution in the middle of negotiation. The primary election results were just super exciting. Multiple things. Let's just dump into the primary results first. This is Ben McAdams. I know everybody wants to talk about New York, but we're going to start in Utah because this is very consequential. This is Ben McAdams. Ben McAdams won the Democratic primary in Utah's first congressional district. You may remember there was a big dust up about this because, again, the Republicans wanted to create a Republican-only state. But yeah, the court stepped in, and this is now the first district in Utah. And folks, we have a real shot here. Ben McAdams is a seasoned politician. He knows how to do this. He knows how to run a campaign. He knows he's well liked in in the region. This absolutely is a blue district. It is. People are like, nah, that's Salt Lake City, Utah. No, no. Utah has a history of electing Democrats. They do. They're not just a red state. I mean, a lot of Democrats are just writing Utah off as, oh no, that is a religious bastion and this that. No, they have a history of electing Democrats. And the way this district is drawn, this is a blue district. We will win this race if we do our job. Ben McAdams is absolutely 100% I mean, no kidding, folks. He is 100% looking like he's going to take this district. This is going to be one of those Steve Kornacki on election night. Wow, we've got to go to Utah because this is going on, because people are writing this off. They are. They're like, oh no, this is going to be a Republican swing. It is not. It is not. The way things are have shifted politically, and I know people like to dismiss polling. I know they do, but there are mathematics. I mean, it's just math, folks. The way things have shifted, Republicans have really screwed up. They have created several 50-50 districts, several, and did not count on the political winds shifting as hard as they have against them. They really thought they were going to walk through this next midterms and come out okay, and they are not. They are not. They are in bad shape, and that is one of the districts that I really, really want you to keep an eye on. Ben McAdams in Utah's first district. First district. I see a lot of people mentioning the Ducks. This happened. We'll come back. We'll come back to the primaries. Yeah. Between the algae and the chemicals and everything, the ducks in the reflecting pool are dying. Yeah. I see your comments down there. I read your comments as I do the show. Yeah, that's really a thing. That is really happening. They found 3 dead ducks so far this morning, and the rest of them aren't looking so good. They're trying to figure out what to do. They're trying to, and meanwhile, remember in the show I said this is what Trump's going to do about the reflecting pool. They're going to put a drape around it so that you can't see how bad it is. They're going to actually try to figure out some way to put a cover on it, because people are going to fly drones there. They are going to take a look at it with drones. They are. They're going to try to make it where you go to jail for getting drone footage of the reflecting pool so that people don't see how bad it is. But yeah, they're doing everything I told you that they were going to do. They've erected a fence around the reflecting pool as of this morning. He is so exactly. He is so useless. So useless. Republicans just cannot govern. They cannot. But yeah, let's get back to the primaries. You're going to see Westmore handily won his primary. Is going to face off in Maryland. Is going to face off against Dan Cox for governor in Maryland. And yeah, I'm loath to say things like this because I don't want people to sleep on these races. I don't want them to not show up. I don't want them to not support our candidates. Think that, oh, this is in the bag. But Westmore, if we do what we're supposed to do, if we support our local Democrats, if we fight and do our job, Westmore is going to beat the brakes off of Dan Cox. He is going to beat the brakes off of Dan Cox in Maryland. He is. Westmore is wildly popular in the state. Let's just hope the fundraising comes in. Let's hope that the volunteers come in and we do everything we're supposed to do, because I'm feeling good about it, because there's a lot of excitement in the Democratic Party this morning. There really is a lot of excitement, and it has a lot to do with New York. But before we get to New York, I want to talk about one race in Maryland in particular. Folks, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about, being ride or die, being ride or die. I've got a cautionary tale, and then I've got a successful tale to talk to you about here and a little bit about what this movement means and how effective it is. Let's start with the cautionary tale. This is Maryland's 6th district. And as you see, it is Western Maryland. You're talking about Fredericksburg, some of Germantown, some of Rockville up in the northwest, but it is primarily an urban district. And we have had a fight here. We have had a real fight here. Here are the results out of Maryland's primary. As you can see, turnout was really good. Turnout was really good. Um, but we're talking about right here. We're talking about April McLean Delaney versus David Thune. This is April. Of course, just to get it out of the way, the legendary Jamie Raskin cruised to victory with like 91%, man. He did. So yeah, Jamie Raskin will be back. But this is April McLean Delaney. But you know what? Let's start with David Thune. This is David Thune. David Thune gave up his seat in this district to run against Angela Alsobrooks and lost in the primary. Ended up giving up his seat. When he gave up his seat, April McLean Delaney won it. She won it. And she has represented the 6th district, and she is the incumbent. She has won again. She actually fought off Thune and his supporters, but barely. I mean, we're talking a handful of votes here. And here's the thing. Both of these candidates are well-heeled. They are well-heeled. These were candidates that when you're trying to recruit a candidate, these are the kind of candidates you want to recruit. They have strong ties within the district, strong business ties within the district. They've got supporters that will come out for them both financially and physically and put bodies out there. This was two battleships banging away at each other in this primary. This is the kind of primary that develops bad feelings. This is the kind of primary where the fighters come out and the people that are funding the candidates come out heavy. And I want you to look at it this way. If you're running a business in the 6th district, and you go all in for, like, say, David Thune, and I mean, you write the big check and you lose, that tends to leave, well, let's be honest, red ass. That tends to leave red ass. It does. What we need to happen in that district is we need them to be ride or die. We need them to realize, hey, these primaries are rough. These primaries are tough. You don't always get the person that you want. You don't. But you come out for the Democrat anyways. You do. I mean, this was a very hard-fought, rough primary between two very good candidates. This is like the district where we have, this was like Tallarico Crockett. This was like Julie Johnson, versus Colin Allred. We didn't want a loser here. We wanted both of them to win. But we've got to move forward, people. We have got to move forward. We really do. We've got to be ride or die in this district. We have got to turn out for April McLean Delaney. We have to. She is a good kid. She's been a good representative, solid Democrat. Let's do this. Let's get it done. That's one I want you to keep your eye on, and we will continue to take a look at this. I'm going to reach out to April McLean Delaney, and see if she'd like to come on the show. But this is one that we want to keep interest generated in and make sure that we are ride or die in this district. This is one that's like I said, the it's on my radar. This is one where, again, those supporters could have bad feelings. I mean, this is the kind of district, this is the kind of fight where you'll actually have some supporters that will try to hamstring the candidate because they're so butthurt about losing in the primaries. This was a rough one. We're not going to do that. We're not going to allow that to happen. We're going to get behind April McLean Delaney, and we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it happen. All right, let's move to New York. I know you wanted to talk about New York. This is the big news. It was Mamdani versus Hakeem Jeffries and their supporters. Let's get it off. Let's get it off the table. Hakeem Jeffries had no opponent. He won by default in his district. No, it would have been a waste of money. He's wildly popular in his Brooklyn district. No one was going to unseat him. No one. So yeah, he skated through, and AOC absolutely dominated in her district. Just killed it. 100% showed that the people in her district are extremely happy. Good turnout. Strong victory. She actually did have someone that ran against her, but I mean, I think that person came in at like 4 points or something like that. But we had, and here are the New York results. If you're interested in all of the races, we're not going to break down all of the races. I want to talk about two in particular. We're going to talk about the 10th district with Lander, and the 13th district with Chevalier versus Espiat. Let's do this. Let's start with Dan Goldman. That's the one everybody wants to talk about versus Brad Lander. This was a brutal primary. It really was. It was rough, man. It was rough. They even, like I said, had confrontations on the street. I mean, it was a rough primary. It really was. But Dan Goldman fucked up. He did. In an era, in an environment that is in which Israel is deeply unpopular, Dan Goldman came out in support of Israel. Dan Goldman voted for ICE funding. Yeah, I mean, he did. Read the room, man. Read the room. This is the victory for being ride or die that I wanted to talk about. Now, Dan Goldman thought he had a real shot here. He really did. He thought he was going to be able to fight Brad Lander off. If you don't know, Brad Lander was the comptroller for the city of New York. He just lost running against Mamdani. But what happened after that loss? What did Brad Lander do? Came out strong for Mamdani. He didn't sour grapes this shit. He didn't whine. He didn't anything. He was out there on the trail supporting Mamdani. That's what you do, folks. That's what you do. That's what being ride or die is all about. And this is how it pays off. Because when this fight got brutal, Mamdani showed up for Lander. We have each other's back. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And when you had huge funding coming in for Dan Goldman, Zoran Mamdani took to the streets. And I keep telling you this, funding is great. But, and I'll get people, well, I can't donate. I mean, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I can't donate. Donate your time. It is worth more than your money. Bodies beat dollars every time. And that is exactly what happened here. Brad Linder had massive grassroots support. He had people showing up, and again, you had Zoran Mamdani that went to bat for him because Brad Linder went to bat for Zoran Mamdani. Even though he lost, he didn't sour grapes this shit. He didn't try to hamstring him. No. You support the Democrat in the race. That's what you do, folks. And this is the fruit of that. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when you stand up, when you're not a sore loser, when you don't foment, right here in Texas, right here, right now, you have people that were part of the Jasmine Crockett campaign. They were supporters in different organizations that are still trying to hamstring Tallarico. Still, to this day, they're being largely ignored. But you're not helping Jasmine Crockett by doing that. You're not. You're not. The Democratic convention kicks off tomorrow. I was supposed to be there, but I ended up not going because we had serious communication problems. But that's neither here nor there. You have the Jasmine Crockett campaign camp that people that supported her. I'm not saying Crockett herself is doing this. They're saying, why wasn't she put up as a major speaker here? Why didn't the Texas Democratic Party go all in on Jasmine Crockett? Well, that's not what this is. These conventions are about the winners. These conventions are about kicking off the campaigns for the winners. This is about James Tallarico. This is about Gina Hinojosa. This is about starting. This is the gates coming open on the horse race, man. Yet you have those people that have never given up, that aren't being ride or die, that have been trying to hamstring Tallarico since the night of his loss. The night of his victory over Jasmine Crockett. They have been trying to hamstring him, that are trying to make an issue out of this. And the Republicans are just sitting back eating popcorn, loving this. Not happening. Not on my watch. You know me. I love Jasmine Crockett. I do. But this convention ain't about her. It's not. It's about the winners. It's about starting the races. That's what it's about. And folks, I love Jasmine Crockett. I do. I think she's an awesome fighter. I do. And if I can put my own personal emotions away and say, no, we're all in on Tallarico, everybody can. Everybody can. But yeah, this is the race in New York that's going to be interesting. This is the one that's well, look, I'm just going to be blunt about it. It can cause us problems. It can. Daralisa Avila Chevalier defeated incumbent Adriano Espaillat. Daralisa Avila Chevalier defeated Adriano Espaillat. This one has me worried. One, it was a squeaker. I mean, just a handful of votes. And this was not, this is not like she dominated. This had a lot of, normally when you see her, she's wearing a keffiyeh. The overwhelming tenor of her campaign was Palestine. Israel and Palestine, what she ran on. This has me worried, not because I disagree with her. I don't, but it does have me worried. Um, this is not, even though Iran is a fixture that we're all paying attention to, and the failures in foreign policy, we're paying attention to what's going on in Ukraine. This is not a foreign policy election. This is a kitchen table election. This is an election where people are hurting at home. And I'm worried that her extreme focus on that may hurt turnout because she's going to get backlash anyways. This was not a runaway win for her. She's got a lot of people to win over. And again, not that I disagree with her. I don't disagree with her. I'm just looking at the political reality on the ground of the situation, in the situation. She is not running to represent Palestine, and she needs to remember that. This is an affordability election. This is about inflation. When people aren't making their bills and are cutting back, their ability to hear about other people's problems is limited. It is limited. Now, the fact that she won is heartening. It is heartening. She is young. She is exciting. She reminds me a lot of another AOC. She really does. But she's going to need some help pivoting in this campaign a lot to, we're going to have to, one second. One second. I need to take care of something in chat real quick. Do. I don't get what you people are. A couple of people in chat seem to have John Fetterman's head shoved up their ass today. I don't understand why. He's not an important issue today, but okay. Okay. Y'all do you. But yeah, Daraliza Avila Chevalier is extremely exciting to listen to. She's going to have to make that pivot. She is. If she runs on nothing but Palestine and nothing but an anti-Israel campaign, she will be a drag on the ticket. She will. She will. And I can't be any more blunt about that. Her message was strong. It was a winning message, but it was not. And she didn't win by 70%. It was a 51-49 election. She needs to be mindful of that. She really does. She needs to hit those affordability issues. She needs to hit those, like Mamdani did. Mamdani did not run on Palestine. He didn't. He ran on potholes. He ran on affordability. He ran on, and you know what? The Republicans are handing it to her. They're handing it to her, and she's going to need. This is happening. I'm seeing across the country. This is happening right in my local. I'm just north of Smith County. I do a lot of work with the Smith County Democratic Party. A young person came in that was extremely fired up, and it was a rough run, and she won. She won. She is the chairman of the Smith County Democratic Party. She's getting a lot of resistance. When right now we don't need that. We need to be coming together. You know what I'm saying? And she needs to be open to hearing from us gray hairs. But we gray hairs need to be willing to help. We do. We need to be open to help. We do. I mean, we've got to come together, folks. This is too important. This is everything, folks. This is everything. And I'm telling you, the Republicans are handing it to us if we just don't fuck it up. This is what Trump did. This is what Trump just did. Trump cancels plan to sign major housing bill as he fights with Congress over the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is wildly unpopular because it attacks women. It attacks women. It sets two different sets of rules for men and women to vote. And that housing bill was wildly popular. It passed with just a handful of dissenters. That's it. Just a handful. Overwhelmingly, it was bipartisan. Even with, and folks, the big thing about this bill is it goes at the heart. Now, it leaves a loophole. It does. I'll get to that in just a minute. But it goes at the heart at what the problem is with housing. The oligarchs have stepped in. We've talked about this before. The B&B crisis, the Airbnb crisis. These oligarchs were looking for safe havens for their money, and houses are almost always profitable investments. Almost always. Something awful has to happen for your investment in a house to not pay off. I'm talking about if you're just buying your own home. Home ownership is the way poor people build wealth generationally. So yeah, Johnny Got Rocks looked at the houses out there and they snapped them up as fast as possible. And they created a supply shortage and drove housing prices up. It's just like if you go back to the banking collapse, we've talked about this. I did a whole show on this. If you go back to the 2007 2008 collapse, it was the oligarchs. It was Johnny Got Rocks, the liars' loans, snapping up massive amounts of real estate. And when the real estate market turns south, like it will every once in a while, they were caught with their pants down. The banks were caught with their pants down. They were not prepared for the people that were walking away from their mortgages. They created that bubble. They've done it again. And this legislation goes directly at the heart of that. It limits the number of houses anyone can buy to 350, which is a lot of houses, man. Now, as it sits, it's got a loophole in it big enough to drive a truck through. I mean, this is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. The fact that they did this, that they even the Republicans went to their base, the massive oligarch donor base, and said, "You can't do this anymore. You're creating a problem," is huge. It is huge. This is a wildly popular bill. But they did leave a hole big enough to drive a truck through in it. Because all the oligarchs got to do is create another company. And then they can buy 350 more. The way this bill sits. I mean, it's just going to end up being the first thing that's going to happen. It's just going to be a paperwork shuffle, which is, the oligarchs don't like that, but they're going to still be able to continue on doing what they're doing. But typically what you see historically with legislation like this, they swallowed the bitter pill. The Republicans swallowed the bitter pill. And they went against their own oligarch donors. When something like that happens historically, And what you end up seeing is enough Republicans have already swallowed the bitter pill. They don't like the fact that they had to endure that, and they're going to take and not get anything for it. So there's usually a subsequent piece of legislation that Democrats can bring up and say, look, they're cheating. We already passed this. They're cheating. And you can usually get enough Republicans to say, yeah, the intent of the bill was not to allow them to just create, shell companies and continue on doing what they were doing. Exactly. It is the foundation. It is the start in which they will build on. I just don't want to promise you that this legislation is going to do something that it's not. I want you to be aware that yes, it is a good thing. It is a very good thing. It is, and it will discourage a lot of people. The whole point is to create additional inventory. Now, some of the ways I don't like it does it is that it tries to interfere, and this will end up going to court, tries to interfere with a lot of local regulation that we have on new homes. So yeah, that's not going to really fly. It's not. Federally, they need to be looking at lowering mortgage rates, making funding available, and doing everything they can to make supply available. That's what they need to be focused on. They tried to do that. That was the compromise that got Republicans on board. Was the Democrats said, okay, you can put that shit in there. It's not going to make it through the court system, but you can put that shit in there, where they went after a bunch of local regulation on home building and whatnot. And folks, you want regulation on home building. You do. You really do. If you don't believe me, just take a little time, go to YouTube and look at some of these home inspectors channels and the shit that they catch. I was watching one the other day. Brand new $2 million home has no dryer vents. Has no 220 for the frickin' dryers. $2 million home, it's inspection time, no dryer vent. You don't want that you don't want those regulations rolled back. You just don't. You don't. But yeah, folks, Brad Landers is the perfect example of being ride or die. What I'm talking about being ride or die. You don't have to give up on your beliefs. You don't have to stop fighting, to not sour the brand, not be selfish. It's good for you in the long run if you support the party. If you do. I'm telling you, folks, this is the way forward. More people wearing the jersey, more people identifying. I know I'm a Democrat. No, these people, you piss me off so bad. Well, I'm an independent, but I always, Paul, I love what you do, and I always vote Democrat, but I'm an independent. No, the fuck you're not. You're a Democrat. You're a Democrat that doesn't want to be blamed if something goes bad. You're a Democrat that doesn't want to have to own John Fetterman. That's all you are. That's all you're not independent. Just take responsibility. Take responsibility. That's all I'm saying. Dave Barone, I hear swamp creatures are rising all over DC. Yeah. Agent Cajun John, yo, just lost. Yeah. Thank you, brother. John Sandham, thank you for being here. Is it John's and Ham or John Sandham? I'm thinking Sandham. Thank you. Welcome, brother. Welcome. George Leidenweber, thanks for always being here to support the show. Appreciate you, brother. Mike Daly the Dim. Morning, brother. We've gone from bad 007 movie to B movie with Orange Swamp Monster and his cult algae guarding soldiers. Yep. Too bad we don't have Jane Russell and sackcloth to sweeten the deal. You're bad, man. You are bad. Lenore Banks, feed birds every day. Today, there were 6 ducks enjoying what I put out. Refugees from the reflecting pool. Yay! Yeah. I'm always lucky. I get cranes, I get ducks out on the pond. Jordan B. Miller, I have been watching the voting between Democrats and Republicans, and Democrats all over are crushing Republican numbers. Yes, we are. The excitement is there. The motivation is there, folks. I'm telling you, people are fired up to get out and vote this election. Chandra Patton, thank you for gifting the members. There are free memberships available for you. If you are watching this live, all you have to do is reach down, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and then hit that join button. There is a free membership for you to snap up. There is. Arrogance goes hand in hand with corruption with Republicans. Amen. 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 Mike Daly, the Dem. I'm a Utah native and dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. They've elected wonderful Democrat governors and congresspeople before, and they will again. Go Utes. I'm telling you, listen to Mike Daly. Listen to Mike Daly. People write off Utah like it's some, no, they elect Democrats in Utah. They do. They do. Holly Hill, having a heart procedure on Friday, asking for thoughts. Holly, thank you for putting it out there. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, of course, wishing you strength. I'm sure everything will go fantastic, Holly. I'm sure everything's going to go great. I know you've got to be concerned and worried, but yeah, everything will go good. The technology, the doctors, they're really good at this now. They're really good at this. It's going to be good. It's going to be okay, Holly. Reach out to us after you get to feeling better. Stacy McNish, Westmore is in trouble. His recent action with DDA is super unpopular, and people are hurting bad. Dan Coy Cox is positioning himself as a DDA advocate. Nah, he's going to Westmore's going to beat the brakes off of Cox. He is. He is. If we do our job, this is not a problem. ET, messaging people affordability instead of culture wars, Citizens United instead of APAC. Are you ready to get involved? When we do the work, it gets done. Amen. Amen. Michael Anthony, who gifted 5 memberships, man. Y'all's generosity always floors me. I mean, y'all are fantastic. There are anybody that wants to be a member, it's free to you. All you got to do is hit the join button. But while you're down there, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. Daryl Curzon, ride or die. Yeah. Yeehaw. Amen. Glenn Kaneko gifted 10 memberships. Thank you for always being here, Glenn. Thank you. Mr. Newton, the message should be simple. I will fight for you to make your life better. Take on billionaires and corruption. Make things affordable for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Marta, I love Brad Landers. That guy is really good at this. He is very likable. He is very likable. When you listen to him speak, he's just a practical sounding. He doesn't sound like somebody, carved a perfect candidate out and then sanded them and polished them. And no, he is, he was the comptroller. He knows what the hell he's talking about. He's experienced it running in New York. He's very likable guy. Very. Weird Idaho liberal. Catch live Sunday. Too much morning stuff to do today and Friday. My toll for the straight Texas Paul. Go team algae. You kill me, brother. You kill me. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for the support, brother. See you. We will see you on Sunday. Kyra loves Michael. Good to see you, Kyra. Thank you for always supporting the show. Melva Harper, welcome. Glad to see you, Melva. Glad to see all the new members. Glad to see you. Rena Scott, vote for the best representative. None of them can give us everything we want. Vote blue across the board. Amen. Amen. Well said. Well said. Well said. Thank you. So, Trump is really pissed off this morning. Not only is he looking at election results that have Republicans pissed off at him, because, let's be honest, he's the reason behind the tailwind that Democrats have. I mean, he proves every day that people have, he's a motivator. Everything he does, he is a motivator. He gets people turned out to vote, gets people angry. Angry people vote. People don't vote to say thank you. People vote to say fuck you. And there's a lot of people out there that want to tell Trump personally to his face, fuck you. And, let's just be honest. So, yeah, Republicans are realizing that things are changing. And this is Susan Collins right here that is in large part responsible for this. Um, yeah, Susan Collins is feeling the heat. Graham Plattner has got her running scared. She actually changed her vote. This was not, most Republicans voted against this. If you could imagine this, most Republicans, almost all of them, all but four, voted to say, fuck the Constitution. Yeah, they did. This is all this is saying, hey, if you want to go to war, you've got to follow the Constitution. You've got to come to Congress for approval. That's all this says. I mean, this is, and it's not even veto proof. Because like I said, Republicans are absolutely 100%. Remember how they used to talk about, well, the Constitution, everything. I mean, I got to go take a leak. Well, the Constitution says about taking a leak that I mean, it was always everything. The Constitution. They literally showed you they don't give a shit about the Constitution, because that's all this vote was to remind the world that we have a Constitution and that, yes, Congress declares war, not the president. Republicans are like, nah, go ahead, fuck that Constitution. But in the middle of that environment, Susan Collins switched over. Well, I think I should probably, my brow is sufficiently furrowed. I think that we should perhaps follow the Constitution. Yeah, she's feeling the heat from Graham Plattner. She didn't want to go on the record with that vote. She didn't. She always sucks Trump's ass. She does. She's one of the biggest taint lickers in Congress. She'll run to a camera and say, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned. Oh, I'm going to vote for it, but I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned. I mean, she is one of the biggest Trump taint lickers in the Senate. She is, period. But she is feeling the heat. She is definitely feeling the heat. Graham Plattner has her running scared, and that is a good thing. That is a good thing. That is a good thing. Now, this vote has Trump incredibly pissed off because he is already in the shitter on these negotiations. I need you to think about this. Remember when this war broke out and everybody was really scared? I tried to make everybody feel better. Say, look, this is just math, folks. What's going to happen is Trump's going to take an L, and they're going to reopen that strait, because the folks that have the money, the folks that have the power, they're going to ensure that the strait gets reopened. And they don't give a shit. Trump's going to have to eat a giant shit burger over this one. Do y'all remember that show when I told you this is the way it's going to go? Well, this is what it looks like. This is a shot across the bow. This is letting Republicans know, hey, we'll still write you the checks if you do this, because we want you to do this. That's what that aspect of it looks like. And I'm telling you, that is exactly what's going to happen. And the Republicans, through this vote, are positioning themselves to be, well, this was Trump, not us. This was not us. This was Trump. This was all Trump's failure, not us. We didn't want to do this. Look, we passed the war powers vote. This is all positioning because they can see what's happening. They can see what this is going to look like. Because right now, you've got look, the negotiations are going horribly for Trump. Everything that he says he's getting to try to keep his base placated, the Iranians come out and say, no, no, that's not what happened. And their press releases are immediate. Trump will make a statement like he's claiming, "Oh yeah, we got UN inspections going on the ground immediately," and Tehran immediately responded, "No, you're not. Mm-mm. That is not the deal that we came up with. I don't know what this demented fucker's saying, but that is not the deal we agreed to in the room." Tehran says no inspections until Israel is out of Lebanon, period. Until the 60 days have passed and everybody shows that they lived up to the deal, no inspections. But you've got Trump, even today, right now, as we speak, is running to cameras and telling people, "Oh, we got the nuclear inspections. We got the nuclear inspections." And Democrats are like, "Really, bud? We had those before. We had those before, and it didn't cost us $100 billion. It didn't cost a bunch of people their lives. All we had to do was release like $1.4 billion of Iran's own money, and we had inspectors there in the facilities. We had cameras there in the facilities. I don't know what you're talking about." And they're kind of missing it a little bit, that they need to be focused on the fact that, yeah, he's just lying. He's just lying. Folks, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm reading the comments, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm getting a little pissed off. I am. I don't know what you folks are thinking. There's a couple people out there bad mouthing Democrats. Now is not the time. Now is not the time. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to be ugly, but I'm going to tell you, now is not the time. You want to do that shit after the midterms? Go ahead. But you fuckers start looking like you're suppressing votes, I will send your ass out the airlock immediately. Now is not the time. If your Democrat won the primary, that is who you are supporting. Period. The time to fight was in the primary, not now. Just telling you. Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay? I'm just telling you. And I've got Mrs. Texas Paul screaming at me that screaming in the chat that I need to be nice. I'm being nice. I'm being nice. But yeah, these negotiations are going on right now. And you've got Iran just punching Trump in the face, just daring him to back away. I mean, this is going to suck, folks. This deal is gonna suck. Iran is gonna, and I want to remind people now, look, yeah, Tehran said this. Let's get this out of the way. Tehran came out today and said, this deal is a declaration of defeat for the U.S. That is not going to play well with Trump. It is not. But they know. What is Trump going to do? You've got the oligarchs and the Republicans telling Trump, we're not doing another Iraq war here. We are not going into 2026 and 2028 doing this shit. We're not. You're not getting your war. You're done. You've got candidates, pro-Israel candidates, getting wiped off the ballots. I warned you, Israel. I did. I warned you. Do not follow fucking Netanyahu down this path. It will destroy you. All of Israel's influence, even among the Jewish community here, is evaporating. This is all happening real time. You are watching it happen. And then you have Iran today saying, no, we beat you. The fact that you're giving us everything that you're giving us is a declaration of your own defeat. And there isn't fuck all we can do about it. There just isn't. We're going to eat a giant shitburger over the stupidest war in history. I just want to remind everybody, Iran was collapsing. Iran was collapsing. Then the Trump administration did not work with allies, did no preparation, overrode its own generals, then forced them. We had another general forced out. The head of European Command was just forced out. We'll talk about that, in another show. But this is all they did. Everybody that told them, don't fucking do this. Don't do this. And they did it anyways because of Trump. Because Trump thinks he's smarter than everybody, and we've got an incompetent asshole running our Department of Defense, a drunk. Just remind everybody, that now Iran that was collapsing is getting massive injections of cash. It is getting investment. All of everything that stopped them from selling their oil, all the sanctions are gone. Yeah. Iran. And there's a lot of people that are I just want to say this. There's a lot of people that are very pro-Iran because they're kicking Trump in the balls. Yeah. The enemy of my enemy is not my friend in this case. I'm just going to tell you right now. Iran is still the same country, actually worse. Mustafa Khomeini is worse than his father. And his father was pouring acid on women because they wanted to wear their hair down. Yeah, Iran is not my friend. These are not people that I'm okay with. The sanctions were there for humanitarian reasons, and they were working. Iran was literally collapsing. It was heading into a violent revolution, and that's all over because of Trump. Again, not only has he set us back, it's going to take a decade to clean up this disaster. And we didn't have a decade. Then he's done it with Iran also. He's given them an injection, a lifeline. A government that was literally crumbling under hyperinflation and is now going to have corporations flooding in. Because corporations don't give a shit, man. They don't. They don't. They don't give a shit. They care about making money. That's it. Pouring acid on people, they don't care. They don't care. And we are in this position because Republicans are fucking weak. They have no morals. They cannot govern. They don't give a shit about the Constitution. You think that I'll prove to you they don't give a shit about the Constitution. Now, I apologize for the audio on this. It is not the best audio, so you're going to have to listen closely to this. But this is Mike Johnson. They're literally arguing against the Constitution. I'll explain that in just a second. But Mike Johnson just fielded this question. We're getting a ruling on birthright citizenship here from the Supreme Court, and I'm honestly, I believe they're going to rule against it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I believe they're going to rule against it because guys like Mike Johnson, yeah, they get heads up about this shit. I mean, you think Alito keeps this quiet? Do you think Clarence Thomas and his political networks keep it quiet? No.
Of the World Cup and rights, the Supreme Court is going to rule perhaps as soon as this week on President Trump's challenge to birthright citizenship. But that comes as Republicans, as you just did, and the White House are celebrating the U.S. men's national team, whose top scorer is a birthright citizen. How should Americans square what looks like a celebration of immigration with efforts to criminalize birthright citizenship?
Yeah, so like all good things, they can be abused, and birthright citizenship goes back to the root of the country, the history of the tradition. You look at the original intent of the Constitution and the founders and what they were doing. Of course, they were facing a very different set of circumstances than we're facing now. We know that it's been abused in recent years because people have literally just come over the border just to have a baby, so that they can avail themselves of the social welfare system of America. As I mentioned earlier, we're the most benevolent nation in the history of the world. But this must be done within reason. And so that's why the arguments were presented to the Supreme Court. Is it time to reevaluate that? We'll see where the court comes down on it. I think they're going to look at that as originalists as they are as textualists. I think they're also going to consider the factors that are at issue and the strength and stability of the country. The president makes some very compelling arguments. A lot of people do, and we'll see how that shakes out. So I don't think it's inconsistent at all. I think we can celebrate immigration, legal immigration. We are a nation of immigrants, as we all recognize. My grandfather came over on a boat from Sicily with 8 siblings and started a fruit stand, and I'm the Speaker of the House, only in America, okay? But we embrace that. We know that that's part of our history, but we also expect that people will come, they will follow the spirit and the letter of the law, they will assimilate to our country and not try to transplant Sharia law and all these other things. And
okay, there's so much to unpack there. First of all, I wanted to that whole Sharia law comment. That's just to keep the stupid, bigoted base in line with this while they take a giant dump on the Constitution. That's all that is. It is to make sure that the bigots stay in line. That's why we got to do this is Sharia law. They're going to try to make Sharia, and what they don't ever tell the stupid idiot bigots is Sharia law. They're both Abrahamic religions. Christianity and Islam are both Abrahamic religions, and Sharia law is 98% just what these Christian nationalists want to shove through themselves. They don't ever tell you that. But yeah, Sharia law it's the buzzword that sets the bigots off. So yeah, that's what he's doing there. And nice of him to tell the story that yeah, it was okay for me and my family, but fuck them other people. His whole story was just a slap in the face. Yeah, it worked for me and my family, but fuck them other people because I don't like them people. Bigotry, pure, 100% bigotry. It's just it's like Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott's in a wheelchair because a tree fell on him. Yeah, no shit. And then he sued the homeowner and the tree trimming company. He sued everybody. That's how he got rich. That tree doesn't fall on Greg Abbott. There is no Governor Greg Abbott. But he passed a law that prevents you from doing the exact same thing he did. I mean, I think he sued the fucking squirrel that was living in that tree. He sued everybody. But then he passed a law that said, not for you. Not for you. Only for me. That's what Mike Johnson is telling you right there. Birthright citizenship worked for my family, but fuck your family. folks, that question was based about, the leading scorer for the American Cup team is an American citizen due to birthright citizenship. That was the whole core of that question. Don't you think it's hypocrisy to one hand be celebrating the World Cup and how well the American team is doing, because we are punching well above where we normally do in the World Cup. We really are. If you're not paying attention, pay attention. The American team is doing really well in the World Cup. Our leading scorer is an American citizen because of birthright citizenship. They were pointing out the hypocrisy of Republicans attacking that. But let's get to the core of it. The argument, this was in, it was Trump versus Barbera. It was the birthright citizen case. And it boils down to one thing. The 14th Amendment says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is a citizen. What they're arguing is the jurisdiction thereof does not apply to these people's parents. Therefore, it doesn't apply to the children, which is bullshit. Because if the jurisdiction doesn't apply to them, how the fuck are you deporting them? How are you arresting them? How are you taxing them? Because you are taxing them. These people pay taxes. But what you heard Mike Johnson say there, well, they're originalists, they're textualists. Those are two different things. Very much two different things. An originalist looks at the original meaning. A textualist looks at just what's in the text. That is not what they are. Antonin Scalia used to pivot like this constantly. Well, if it's not written in the Constitution, it's not there. When they wanted to override regulation or prevent Congress from doing something on your behalf that would limit a corporation, well, if it's not written the meaning doesn't, apply. If it's not there, he was a textualist at that point. If it wasn't in the text, it ain't there. But whenever they want to, do something like this, where it's absolutely in the text, well, that's not the meaning. And I hope you caught the massive hypocrisy that was the statement he made about, well, they were facing a very different situation then. You know what? When they wrote the second fucking amendment, they had muskets. It was a very different situation they were facing then. They could not envision an assault rifle with a 30-round magazine that could pour that kind of lead down range. They could not envision it. This whole situation is about let me be a bigot. My voters love bigotry. Let me be a bigot. And I'm very afraid that this Supreme Court, which is a hyper-political Supreme Court, they do not call balls and strikes. They do not, no, they torture the Constitution to try to pander to their bigot base. That's why, I had some idiot I was talking about the Republicans control all three branches of government. And one of the bots showed up that always shows up. Yeah, I wish the people in Congress would do something, and then went on to talk about Democrats in Congress. No, Democrats don't control any branch of government. And you need to be aware of that. There are bots paid for by the right wing that are shit talking Democrats trying to suppress our vote by telling you the Democrats just ain't doing nothing. Bullshit. They don't control any branch of government. They don't. What did Chuck Schumer do? Chuck Schumer whipped the votes and got that war powers resolution passed. That wasn't John Thune. John Thune provided 4 votes. Chuck Schumer got every Democrat but one to pass the war powers resolution. And folks, you know, you can hate Chuck Schumer for his relationship with Israel. You can. You know, he's been very pro-Israel. But that war powers resolution was a kick in the balls to Israel. And it was Chuck Schumer that got it passed. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I keep telling people, stop attacking Democrats. If you want to oppose Chuck Schumer in 2028 when he's up for re-election, by all means, be ride or die. Jump in them primaries. Support someone. Do it. But he ain't up for election right now. Neither is John Fetterman. That's 2028, folks. That's not this election. That's not this election. Let's focus on the one right in front of us and get it done. Oh, man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Woo! Mine is killing it today. Here's Elizabeth Warren on talking about what I'm talking about with Republicans.
Do you get a sense in the Senate, particularly among some of the Republicans, for example, who are no longer running for office, having been defeated in primaries, that there is going to be more opposition to certain priorities of the administration and or the president?
Look, the Republicans have distinguished themselves as a group by their absolute inability to stand up to Donald Trump. There has been only one basic move that Republicans in the Senate can make, and that is to bow down to the great Trump. Maybe that will change. I don't know. But what I do know is that the American people are counting on us on doing the hard work of government. And that's what this road to housing bill is all about. We did the hard work. We reached out to mayors all over this country. We put together this bill. Good for families everywhere, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. And now Donald Trump acts like a petulant child and won't show up for the ceremony to sign it. You can't make this stuff up. And we could all laugh, except this is really serious. This is really serious for the young family that can't buy a home. This is really serious for the renter who sees his rent going up again and just doesn't know how he's going to cover both health insurance and rent. This is serious business, and this is one big effort to lower costs, and Donald Trump doesn't want to be anywhere near it.
Do you get a sense?
No, that was the audio. It wasn't the best audio. It wasn't the best audio. That wasn't you. That one was hard to understand, but she did nail it. 100%. All the Republicans know is to bow down to Trump. It's all they do. It is all they do. And folks, I am telling you, it's scary. It is scary. I want to show you a video. One second. One second. Be patient with me. Damn it. 1 second. Let me see if I can. God damn it. This thing pulled up first thing this morning. I accidentally closed it. Now it's not pulling up. There's a video of Trump where he says, I talked to Putin. He fought in World War II. His people lost 50 million people. No, none of that was factual. Trump was talking about a conversation that did not happen. Putin was born 2 years after World War II. He didn't fight in World War II. He didn't. I don't know what delusional shit that Trump is thinking, but no. And no, the Soviet Union didn't lose 50 million people in World War II. Not even counting civilians. They lost a lot of people. They did, but not 50 million. Our president is not there. I mean, he just makes shit up as he goes. And Republicans are not willing to do anything. Elizabeth Warren nailed it right on the head. All they do is bend over for this guy. So yeah, this War Powers Resolution vote is a clear message, and Trump is not handling it well. He is not handling it well. Between the Iranians dunking on him and pointing out that the shit he's saying isn't true, he keeps saying it's a lie. Democrats are lying. It's the Democrat. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't the Democrats. It was the Iranians, and they said it to national news. They said you're lying. So yeah, I mean, this is a scary time, folks. But what scares me more than that is the number of people on our side that cannot wrap their head around, we can't play these fucking games this time. If the Republicans survive the midterms, they're going to take that as permission. They're going to take that as permission. They're going to peel away women's rights to vote. We told you over and over again that they're going to repeal Roe v. Wade. And people are like, oh, you're being hyperbolic. No, I'm not. I wasn't then. I'm not now. If Republicans survive, women, they're coming after you. And they're telling you what they're going to do. They're going to eliminate your right to vote, and they're going to repeal your rights as a person. It wasn't that damn long ago you couldn't even get a credit card without your husband's signature. And Republicans are telling you to your face, they believe it was a mistake to move away from that. I did a video on this, and I had a lot of, because I didn't specifically mention African-American people. I didn't mention black people. I had a lot of black people saying, hey, we get this. We understand the bigotry. We understand where they're trying to go. Why, I don't know why you're not mentioning this, because I don't have to mention black people. They understand this. They understand how dangerous these people are. They understand that Republicans want to hurt you. The African American community is the one community that does not need to hear that message. They know it. That's why they vote the way they do. That's why they've been carrying us. That's why black women have been saving our asses in every election for the last 5 or 6 elections. And we still have people on our side that are telling people not to vote. I'm not just talking primaries. I'm not talking about, I disagree with this person and we need to support that person. No, they're telling people when their person loses, oh, don't show up, don't vote. We got to teach them a lesson. Fuck that noise, man. There are 2 parties in this country. 2. Everything else is just a distraction and a way for Republicans to bleed off votes from Democrats. So, yeah, I'll get people that say, you're just a Democrat shill. Yeah? You just figuring that the fuck out? Yeah. That's what I do. I use social media as a tool. I do this to get people to show up and vote for Democrats. Democrats that can get elected. You saw me support Zoran Mamdani. Those Andrew Cuomo blue blood Democrats were pissed. Fuck them. Zoran Mamdani was the Democrat on the ticket, and I supported him. We need to elect Democrats. We do. We do. We need to be people. You know, Republicans don't miss because they've got one issue and one issue only. They want to hurt people. They do. They want to hurt people. I remember I was having this discussion with, it was a member of the community. They emailed me. They were talking about Brexit and how the parallels are so similar. The conservatives over there were exactly like the conservatives here. The reason Brexit passed is so many of the conservatives over there were 1, bigots, and 2, wanted to hurt London. That's what they wanted. They wanted to hurt London. And they did. They didn't give a shit about their own financial well-being. That's why I got so angry yesterday when somebody tried to pull that rhetoric out of their ass about, well, you have very disgruntled people that are on the right that aren't bad people. They're just, they have financial anxiety. The fuck they do. The fuck they do. These people, farmers, Republican farmers, not Democratic farmers. Not all farmers are Republican. They aren't. But Republican farmers fucking knew what they were doing to themselves. And they did it anyways. Republican farmers voted to have their own farms and economy, the farm economies destroyed to hurt people. Because they knew, hey, we got to eat. We're going to bail them out. We've got to eat. That's what these people fucking are. They want to hurt you. And and if you're thinking you look like me, you're safe, you're not. You're not. They want to hurt you too. And if we don't show up, if we don't absolutely dominate them in these midterms, if they get by the skin of their teeth, if Democrats barely take a majority, if they will look at this as fucking permission. And those concentration camps will become the order of the day. women will lose their right to vote. In state after state after state, you see them doing it. Women, we're taking your birth control away. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Go take a look at what they're doing as far as what are they voting? What are they passing? What are they doing to women in their states that they control? Go back and look at their social media comments about this. This was a murder. This was a murder on our streets. This was an unarmed man. They had taken his gun away and they shot him in the back of the fucking head while he was on his knees. Had more than enough men there to physically control him. They executed him. Go take a look at what Republicans, this is Alex Preddy. Go take a look at what Republicans said about that. Yet we still have people on our side that will pretend to be on our side, telling you not to vote. Palestine or John Fetterman or Israel or whatever the fuck their reason is, they are shit talking Democrats suppressing our vote. I got Teresa right there talking about John Fetterman. Okay, cool. Vote him out. That's 2028. That's not this election, Teresa. It's not. It's not. Don't suppress votes, Teresa. Don't do it. Don't do it. Elect Democrats. Focus on that. Focus on that. Elect Democrats. Turn Democrats out. And you do that by boosting the brand. Give people identity. See, that's the one thing people don't really fucking understand about Republicans. They gave up 50 years ago on being a party that was about anything. They're not about the Constitution. They're not about anything except bigotry, because that turns out their vote. Hurting you is what they're selling. That's why no matter what Trump does, we elected Trump because we don't want no more wars. Okay? Go read what they're saying about Iran right now. They're all on board. Had to happen, had to stop them from getting that nuclear weapon. Well, you can explain to them 10,000 times that, that was what was happening before Trump, but no, they will twist themselves in knots. They don't care about reality or anything. All they care about, the bottom line, is that you got Mike Johnson there talking about hurting people. All that bottom line, you have Trump constantly talking about hurting people. Trump with the SAVE Act, constantly talking about hurting women. That's what they want. And if you don't stop fucking around, if you do not send a clear message to these people that you're punching them in the face in the midterms, they'll take it as permission. Because remember, every Republican, one vote. If they win an election by one vote, to them, that's a mandate. That's a mandate. Because the Republicans see anytime that you are not forcibly stopping them, that's a mandate. You didn't stop us. That's a mandate. The people want it. So yeah, I'm begging you people, be ride or die. I'm begging you people, elect Democrats. I'm begging you people, stop focusing on that bald fucking Frankenstein. Stop focusing on shitting on the Democratic Party. We all get it. You think we don't know he's an asshole? We do. 2028. I will stand shoulder to shoulder with you when you run the candidate to unseat him in the primary. I will be standing right next to you. But right now, I don't want to hear about him. I don't. I want to hear about turning out the vote. I want to hear about Republicans and what they're doing to people. Stop filling the space. I'm gonna have one more lesson, and then I'm gonna go to the comments and we're gonna roundtable this. The space. Always be aware of the space. What is the space? You as a human being have shit to do. You do. You have shit to do, right? You got to feed yourself. You want to, you've got laundry to do. I'm going to be mowing grass all afternoon. Just everybody has shit to do. There's only X amount of time that you have to spend with me here or to hear messages or think about it. That is called the space. Politically, they call that the space. What Republicans have become very good at is filling that space with bullshit. And they've become very good at manipulating us into filling that space with bullshit that keeps us from turning out our vote. Jasmine Crockett. Perfect example. We all love Jasmine Crockett. There isn't a fight there. But you have these groups. Well, Jasmine Crockett should have been a keynote speaker. Well, she lost. She's not even going to be in government. We're talking about tomorrow. That's what this entire event is about, is tomorrow and the campaigns that are going on. That is not who she is. But the space is being filled with it. The amount of time that you have to absorb information to motivate people is finite. Republicans know this, and they fill the space with bullshit all the time. It just is what it is. And I'm begging you, I'm trying to teach you, I am trying to lead you. Teresa, love you. Love your fire. I do. I'm just asking you, how about shitting on a Republican in comments? Instead of reminding everybody about our fucking bald Frankenstein. We're months away from an election, Teresa. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Let's put messages out that motivate voters. Let's put the jersey on. Team Democrat. All right. All right. Let's do this. DTQ. I'd like to bring attention to country art. I'd like to bring attention to country artists such as Brian Andrews, Charlotte Crockett, and Maren Morris. They don't all support this regime. Y'all, perfect. I'm going to pause the reading for just a second. Y'all know who this guy is? Y'all know that I've taken up playing the guitar. Y'all know that, right? I've noodled around with it forever, but I've found a teacher, and I am learning. Anyways, y'all know who this is. Y'all know who this guy is. That's Roy Clark. That's Roy Clark. A lot of people just know him as the funny guy from Hee Haw back in the day. Young people probably don't even know who he is. Roy Clark is one of the most gifted guitarists to ever live on this planet. A lot of people that even know who Roy Clark is don't even know how good he was. Spend some time on YouTube. Roy Clark in 1968 put out a song. Here, let me find it for you. One second. Let me find it for you. It's called Do You Believe This Town? And I can't play it for you, but I can show it to you. If I play it for you, I'll get a copyright violation and get a strike against my channel. But I want to show it to you. Just to show you, just to make a point. Somebody was talking about country has not always been like Jason Aldean's that shoots music videos at courthouses where black people were lynched. The open bigotry we're seeing in country music today. Roy Clark put this song out called Can You Believe This? Do You Believe This Town? In 1968, in the middle of the civil rights movement. I mean, it was hot, man, at the time, politically very hot. And it calls out bigotry. It calls out, just the hypocrisy of small town rural hate. It's a great song. It is. It's a great song. That man lived in Tulsa, fucking Oklahoma. But he was a musician. And he knows the country music, the blues music, everything that he came from talented, black artists. One of the most famous things that you'll see on internet, on YouTube, is Roy Clark playing Malagueña, which comes from Cuba, Hispanics. You follow what I'm saying here? Country didn't used to be about bigotry. It is Republicans that made it about hate. It's not the genre. It's not that country was the opposite of hate. Now, the minute you hear country come on, you're like, oh God, here comes another bigot. Didn't used to be that way. And you know what? If you want to hear something freaking amazing, go do a YouTube search for Roy Clark on what was the name of that show? The two brothers, Oscar and Felix Madison. What was the name of that damn show? The two roommates. Somebody help me out here. Roy Clark did a guest appearance. The Odd Couple. There you go. Do a search for Roy Clark on The Odd Couple. Your jaw will drop at the performance he puts on there. Just amazing. Anyways, I'm raving. But there's so many artists out there. There's so many people that have, I'm just being reminded. I'm just being reminded constantly that, yeah, there are good people out there, man. There are good people. It wasn't always this way, and it won't always be this way. If we can learn to coalesce together and fight back, we will do this, man. We will do this. But yeah, I appreciate the comment. I do. I appreciate the comment. That was a great segue, and I appreciate the comment. JPR, MAGA, make algae great again. E.T. Plattner is making her scared. Amen, he is. Amen, he is. Amen, he is. Sherry Ellison, my wheelchair ramps were finished on Friday, and for the first time in months, I can go outside and sit and breathe the air and let the sun shine on my face. Thank you, President Biden, American Rescue Plan. Amen. Democrats do the work, man. Democrats do the work. I spend omniscient thinks the Republican Party has turned into the toxic adventures. Who is wearing the tutu? Yeah. You kill me, brother. New West Bill, thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting the show. ET, beware of blue bots. Yep. All right. John T, new member. Good to see you. Good to see you. Michael Ha, new member. Good to see you. Good to see you. ET, Cuban next, and they are reported to now have drones from Russia, Iran that can cover the southern U.S. Also expect a huge influx of Cuban refugees, too. Yeah, I'm telling you, I just see Trump collapsing. I do. I think that we're seeing a pivot. And if you do your job and stay focused, yeah, the Republicans are pulling away from Trump. They are. Rena Scott, without the working middle class doing the work, there would be no corporations. Amen. Amen. Mr. Knutson, the leadership of Iran is evil and suppressive, not friends of democracy. We should arrest all the war criminals on all sides in this stupid war. Yep. Clarence, WD, it's amazing how Trump has bad luck. I don't know that word. Schliprocked his way through life, and he's never held accountable. Yep. Melody Lawrence Scott. Only mission, lock arms, vote straight ticket. Amen. 5-month member. Salute. Jenny, the speaker is confused. The 14th Amendment didn't originate in 1789. It came after the Civil War. It couldn't be clearer. If you were born here, you're a citizen, period. End of story. Yep. But they're trying to twist the verbiage. They don't really care about the Constitution. E.T., it is less than 19 weeks until the general election. Verify your voter registration and deadline dates. Know your early voting dates. Get involved. J.D. Straight Shot. ABC reports that the DOJ is looking into gas price gougers. In your opinion, when are they going to tell Trump it's his fault? Midterms? I'm telling you, folks. Stay focused. William G. Atheist. The bad news is that though our history, throughout history, all Republicans fail with your form of government. Are we witnessing that again? I'm telling you, all republics fail. The average lifetime of a democracy is 250 years. That's the average lifetime. If you want to be on the farther end of it, you're going to have to do the work. If you want the same democracy that you had for your children and grandchildren, you're going to have to do the work, because that isn't a lie. I mean, the average lifespan of a democracy is 250 years. You got to keep the stupids from killing it. We have to become high-minded again. Everything that the Republicans hate, everything that they sell to their people, the baseness, the stupidity, the anti-intellectualism, all of that kills democracies. Democracies have to believe that you can be better or they die. And your average Republican doesn't give a shit. They don't. All they care about is the bigotry and hurting you. They don't care what form of government does it, despite what they'll tell you, despite the rhetoric, despite talking about patriotism, despite talking about democracy and the Constitution. That is the core of who they are. They don't give a shit if our democracy survives, as long as they think you're being hurt. Mr. Knutson, USSR lost about 9 to 12 million soldiers in World War II, 15 to 17 million civilians, but a lot, but not 50 million. Total death in World War II was 70 to 85 million total. Terrible. Yeah. Our president is just delusional. George Lynon Weber, thank you for supporting the show. I really appreciate you. I really do. Dime Bree Garage, glad to see you here, my friend. Haven't heard from you in a while. Man, send me some updates on those projects, brother. You know I love cars. Man. How's the Mrs. VW running? Dime Bree Garage, Paul here with you. All people better wake the F up, because they want to control everybody. We must vote Democrat, period, plain and simple. Ladies, this is not hyperbole. If you do not get people to show if you don't browbeat your kids, if you don't browbeat your husband, if you don't browbeat your grandchildren, if you don't use your grandma power, you will lose women the right to vote. They will take that away. If the Republicans win the midterms, if the Republicans win in 2028, it's over. It's over. You will go back to having to ask your husband's permission for a divorce. Yeah. They want that. They're telling you they want that. Wendy Bauman, if you think about it, he tore down the feline side of the White House. Go figure that one. I don't know what the feline side of the White House means. I don't understand that. I'm gonna be honest with you. Thank you for the support. Thank you but you got to clarify that one for me. Giddy Roadrunner. Okay, sir. My elderly mom is commenting on your colorful language. Man, the cussing jar must be overflowing today. Give your mom a hug for me and apologize to her for me. Some of us in the world are crass. We just are. Forward and flow. Save the ducks. Amen. 2-month membership. Good to see you. 2-month member. E.T., I watched Don Lemon talking to New York MAGA about Iran. What did they have to say, E.T.? Mr. Knutson, Republican talking point. Billionaires are not the cause of shops needing to lock down toothpaste. My response, oh yeah? Toothpaste thieves are not keeping you from a living wage or free health care. They want to talk about anything but the most important things in your life. Income, healthcare, infrastructure. Income, healthcare, infrastructure. 3 most important things in your life. Everything falls after that. Wendy Bauman, feminine side of the wife. Gotcha. I kind of thought that's what you meant. E.T., the space I call information bandwidth bubble. Good name for it. Kyra loves Michael for the cussing pond. Thank you. I appreciate it. Glenn Kaneko, thanks for supporting. Thanks for always right there, folks. These are the kind of people that make up this community. If you want to be a part of it, take one of those free memberships right now. Catch my whiff. We have to change the way we talk about the Democratic Party to ourselves before we can change how we talk about it to others. Republicans don't do that. Republicans rarely, if never, shit on the Democrat. Tucker Carlson is front page news because it is so rare, and he's getting the shit beat out of him by everyone on the right. Yeah, if you haven't heard, Tucker Carlson said he's leaving the Republican Party. Again, people are positioning themselves for post-Trump. The old man's dying right in front of us. He is. They know there's going to be a post-Trump. They know Republicans are having to move to actually do something for a change. Rena Scott, oh my God, I love Roy Clark. I do too. He was incredible. Treat yourself. Go to YouTube. Look at some of Roy Clark's music there. Kyra loves my Texas Paul. YouTube randomly gives out gifted memberships. You can't just grab one. I just found that out. You can. Hit the join button. Chandra Patton, I grew up in New York City and loved he. I hope they're handing them out for free. I hope they're giving them to people. Roy Clark, Buck Owens, Minnie Pearl. Yeah, used to love he. Deep Digger, hope is not a plan. Mobilize. Amen. Well said. Kit B, my Trumpy nephew posted on Facebook. Has YouTube changed the way they're handling those? Because I never got an update on that. is YouTube randomly handing them out? Because it used to just be hit the join button. My Trumpy nephew posted on Facebook today that he was leaving the Republican Party and going independent. Not because of Trump, but that the Republicans are getting bad. He still supports Trump. Yeah, I'm telling you, because all he wants is to hurt you. Yeah, I had a lady get mad at me, actually walk away from me in a conversation because she wanted to tell me how her sister is a Republican, but not a bad person. And she would really wish I would quit saying Republicans are bad persons. I told her, I said, give me 5 minutes with your sister and I'll have her say horrific things right in front of you. And that lady turned around and walked away because she could not accept that her sister was a bad person. Well, yeah, she is. She is. She is. And that's who they are. And yeah, your sister wants to hurt you. She does. She won't admit it, but she does. She'll vote for it every time. She will engage in the act. She will walk down to a voting booth. Not just say it, not just think it. She will literally walk to a voting booth and engage in the act of hurting you. It's hard when it's family. It is. Tube Kurt, face down, nose to desk, in one of his absurd seated news conferences. That's how I want this Shakespearean piece to end. I hear you. I hear you. Tracy Willoughby, Republican Party, divide and conquer. Yep. George Leinenweber, I cuss like a sailor. It's all right. I know. You know what, though? Some people are rightfully offended. And I do know Mrs. Texas Paul, my better half, gets after me about it. And I'm trying to be better about it. E.T., this is me trying to be better about it. I talk filthy. These Fs have been working on this for decades. It will take almost as long to fight back from this cliff and then to keep fighting them off. Yep. Yeah, I just got a notification. That's how YouTube's doing it now. They're randomly, when you gift a subscription, YouTube is now, instead of waiting for people to pick them up, they're randomly assigning those members. All right. That's even better. All right. Love it, folks. I do. I love that you're here. I love spending time with you. I really do. I appreciate all of your time. I hope you're as excited as I am watching these results because, man, I have to tell you, it's painful when somebody loses in a primary, when you get an incumbent kicked out, but it also means that you have excitement, you have momentum, you have people within your party that are motivated. So yeah, these incumbents being beat, you're talking about Dan Goldman being shown the door. That sends a message to everyone else. Because I tell you, some of these people, forgive me. Sorry about that. Got a catch in my throat all of a sudden. Some of these people up on the Hill get very insulated and they don't hear you. They don't. They're not exposed to what you're thinking and saying. But when somebody like a Dan Goldman loses his primary, that's a real wake-up moment for people. It is. Good job. Well done. Keep everybody motivated, and let's keep doing it. Let's do it. Chandra Patton, whenever I donate membership, I see them being snapped up immediately. I try to thank them at notification. And all right. Thank you, Chandra. Thank you. Thank you. Folks, I hope you have a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you on Friday. In the meantime, enjoy some Texas cities at night.